Bawa. Just been working on this kit for a house. It's a card kit, but really is quite nice. 3D effect from layered cards. This is really weird picking it up through the camera, but yeah, really rather beautiful. And I've got the windows in that one. It gives you the measurements and the instructions, and you cut the window to size. See it reflecting there. But yeah, it's a lot of just blindly following the instructions, because you get the measurements there. That light, because it's flickering. That's possibly the light from the monitor there. Sorry about that flickering. But yes, I'll carry on, and I'll back when it's a bit more together. So I figured that I probably should show something to build of this. So what have I done so far? Slide one side. So we built the two side walls. I built the two side walls. So that's that one and that one. So there we go. That. And then I'm assuming this is for the front of the building. And then this looks like the entrance there. The fit is amazing on this. I've got to be honest. I did a quick test last night. So it's these two pieces here. Once it's in, look at that. The quality of this kit is just sublime. It really is amazing stuff. So yes, now I want B21. Just as I hit record, there's sirens outside. Wasn't me, Gov. So I want B21. It's the only thing I don't like. It's a little bit hard to read the numbers on the card, but that's 21. You really need the light on it. Yeah, that's 21 there. So they're all affixed to just fixed in by single points of contact on the actual corners. So so it's just a case of carefully a modelling knife, just carefully cutting them out. That, and then I've been using my finger just to hold it down and see where it will release from. I think that's the top bit of that released. Yeah, bottom bits, but not. I think it's quite important, and this is a mistake I've made with Metcalf kits, is tearing, wiggling it round to release at the end. It's better just to get the knife and then actually cut it like that, to get a nice clean edge. Now Metcalf obviously are the obvious comparison to make here, because they're card kits like this. However, and I really like the Metcalf range. In fact, some of my best friends are Metcalf kits now. But this is another level. This really is another level. The card used is quite thin, but it's quite strong. it's quite strong. It's almost like almost more like a wood, a very thin wood, like balsa wood or something than card, in how it feels. And testing it with the, well, actually with the lights of the room rather than the LEDs here, it's not letting any light through. So the light bleed issue I had with the other buildings apparently won't be an issue with this. Obviously plenty of testing will happen before we do too much more, but see that comes together and it gives you a nice 3D look, and you've got the actual panels represented there. So it's got to line those up, glue them together, and then that's that bit done as well. And no windows on this one. So what I'm using is just regular PVA stuff. But I'm putting it into my pallet tray here. And then I've got a paper clip which I've bent out. I'm just going to use that to apply the glue. This one should be fairly easy to do, because it's just apply it down here, round up and into the corners, just to keep this bit, strip the top down. Alternatively, making sure, because there's some detail that side, I could actually just do it on here, which would be easier, because that way only the points of contact here will actually have glue on them. So let's do that. Also, the great thing about PVA is it will dry clear. Hopefully I can get this video out beforehand. Tonight I am recording another build, but in the company of my fine chum Greg and one of his colleagues from work, building Airfix quick kits. Over on my aviation channel, Wing Commander Poppycock. Link in the description below. If you like aviation related things, then you might be interested. But it promises to be quite amusing if it all works. I've got to investigate StreamYards quickly later on today. Nothing like being prepared, eh? Just making sure everything's a nice spread of this. Just to make sure we keep it all nice and glued together. Right. So let me bring that up. I'm trying to get the corners aligned nicely. It's about the hardest bit on these is just making sure that everything does line up as best you can. Get it. And there we are. We have another wall for our I have another wall for my house here. a little nub on the end. I'm going to try and take that off with this. That's it. Just smooth that out a bit. Don't want it causing issues later on. So yeah, that's done. It's done that piece there. Right, so now on to the next bit. It's basically that, rinse and repeat. But I will show you one that needs a... We'll go to one that needs a window. It could be this one here. We'll do these first. Now I'm not sure what the pink... Not sure what the pink bits mean on that one. So B24 and C32. No, let's have a look at those. That's B24. Okay. C32. Oh, it's on that one. I'll get B24 out first. Just looking to see where it's connected. So you have to be really careful here because it's actually connected there and there, but there is a bar, there's a support bar there, so we'll start with that bit. Right, so that'll be cut out. It's the same this end as well. Okay, then we need to do this bit here. Yeah, the quick kit's going to be decidedly easier than this. I don't envisage that build taking long at all. The person we're doing it with was quite concerned that she wouldn't be able to manage it, and I just said, well, look, they're basically Lego kits. So if you've built a Lego kit, you can build one of those quite easily, I think. So I've never built one, but looking at it, yeah, it should be interesting. Should be interesting. So yes, so there we have these two bars at the end of the ones I'm talking about. Each end there, you just have to be careful about those. So the precision of the actual cut on these is quite something. C32, let's see, C32 here. So, just looking to see where this goes. So I just thought there'd be windows in here, but obviously isn't because there's no frame. Trying to work out where these end up. Ah, right. Right. So, excuse me. So this piece will end up, I'll start with that bit first, but this will end up sat across there. That's where it's destined to be. So now the instructions are, as you've seen, they're all in picture form. There is some writing at the top, which I haven't bothered to translate because so far I haven't needed to worry about it, because everything else has been in something I can, in a form I can understand, either in picture or literal numbers and millimeters. I can work that out. But yeah, so this one, the most careful you've got to be is just here in this corner here. So again, I'm going to start with that. There we are. And then it's just a simple corner, come back to that one. Corner. You see there. Nearly was tempted to pull it, but it's better just to cut it. It's better to cut it. So it just lifts away and leaves the part you want. Right. So yes, that's quite interesting, that. Sounds like posty. So then, just to show again, before we introduce any glue to it, so essentially, nope. And this is why we want glue on it, really, not when we're just giving a demonstration, but essentially that bit will go there. It roughly, yeah. It'll be a lot neater once I actually come to it, because obviously if I won't be fighting 3 separate pieces, it will be 2. Make the difference though, but that gives an idea. But you see, again, it introduces another element of 3-dimensionalness, and I think this is something that there's some fantastic kits for buildings for the UK market, but I think this is something that could be investigated. This is a company that makes this is Miniature Art kit. I'm gonna have to say there's more. Sankey. Yeah. I'm gonna have to say there's more, because I'm really a big fan of this and how strong the card feels. I was worried about using a card kit on an exhibition layout, but I think there's nothing actually to be feared. I'm quite encouraged by this one. But yes, right, let's get the glue on this one. I mean, just touching on Metcalf again. I know a lot of people have issues with Metcalf kits. Between them being quite commonly used on people's layouts. So there's a lot of the same kit around there. The big one I hear obviously is the lack of sort of depth to brickwork and things. And also there's ways around you can get around that. I was talking to someone at the game show about that, but I think some of the disgruntlement, shall I say, with things like depth and that on those kits is in the smaller gauges, like in the smaller scales, you do get away with a lot more. I'm not saying it's easier, but just saying they're not a bad shout, because of the viewing distance and everything. You can get away with not having quite so much 3D. And I think it's really important, regardless of the scale, as well, just as an extra, in not being too harsh on them anyway, because they are very accessible kits to build. All you literally need is PVA. Those ones, you know, some scissors would do. And take your time with it, and you can have some quite nice buildings for your model rail, and it makes quite a lot of difference to. I was saying to someone only last night about they were trying to work out what to do, and I said, whatever you can do to get a train running with at least a little bit of scenery around it, even if it's just a house or something, you know, but something that lets you see your model locomotives and stock running with something scenic makes all the difference, and that's the reward I'm reaping at the minute. I'm speaking from experience, the difference it's making for me, seeing my trains actually running through landscape. This mallard mat's had it, hasn't it? My work mat here, but it's really useful because it's rotating, so it's got a long life ahead of it with me doing that. All right. So I'm at B23 and D35. How long is this so far? How are we on? 20 minutes. That's not too bad. So I'll show you up to putting some glass in. And we've got this B23, D35, got that to make. Then there's two little pieces to make. And then the one after that is the one with putting some transparency in. So I'll show you doing that one. And then I'll probably carry on. I'll probably carry on and start to. We can. Oh, just trying to think where to actually take you to. Because I could take you to that stage there where we actually start bringing the building together. Yeah, let's do that. So let's do the glass and start bringing the walls together. And then once I've done that, because there's a little bit of roof in that as well. Once I've done that, I can. I'll then. The next bit you'll see is probably when it's actually more complete, if not fully complete. Though what I would like to do is I would like to test one of the actual LEDs inside before I go too far. So I'll probably assemble these first few walls and just see how it looks with an LED inside. So that's a bit of what you see. So yes, we'll take you to that anyway. Let's go. So, because ideally, I mean, it's quite good. I can leave this and go do the quick kit. I've got another little work desk now next to me. I can. Should really be doing this on there, if I'm being perfectly honest. But yeah, I'll use that for the quick kit later if this isn't done. So B23 and D. Let's see. That's B. 23. This one here. Got some nice big components now anyway. So exact the same as before. But yes, I think we do need to be careful not to put people off. I mean, there are some fantastic ready to plant buildings, and equally there's nothing wrong. I mean, Tsursu Michi here next to me is all ready to plant buildings, really. The Tommy Tech ones you have to put together, but they're pre-painted and everything. There's two kits on there. No, there are two kits on there. There's the storehouse, the peach crop that I've got, and there's a restaurant down in the street there as well. but the majority of it is really diplomas. There's nothing wrong with it, because even if we all have the same buildings, you know, going back to the thing I was saying about the commonality of seeing Metcalfe kits on buildings, on layouts, I think that you know, it might be where I recognise that, but it would be laid out different because everyone's image of a layout is different. Even if you're modelling a real life location, you're not going to get things exactly where they were. You might get them in the right. Oh, you know, I remember that street. You had a fish and chip shop, a bakery, and an ironmonger's on that street. You know, in the photographs you can see it, and yeah, you can get those in that order. But are they to the millimetre exact distance from the station building that they were in real life? They wouldn't, you know, would be in real life. Possibly not, because these things are really hard to do. So I think yes, if you are using Metcalfe kits and you're enjoying them, you know, absolutely, don't let anyone put you off. And if you are someone that likes to, doesn't care for them, that's fine, but don't put other people off using them. That's your choice. You know, and I'm using a lot of Kato ones, a lot of Kato and Tommy Tip ones. I haven't painted the outside of any of them, so they're all the same colour as everyone else that's got one. Right. So we've got that now. So what do we want? While I'm wittering away here. D35. You see, I think D is this one here. I think D, yes, that's D. 35 is here. I've found sometimes it helps to hold it up to the light, just to see, you can see where the points of contact are really clearly with the light behind it. The white's easier to see than the brown. Anyway, but it's the best bit of advice I've ever had. I think it's better than saying you need to have patience, or patience, is just take your time. It's that not rushing, which is patience. Don't get me wrong, you know, it absolutely is the same thing. It's just that take your time with it. You know, it's meant to be a hobby after all. Just enjoy the ride. Keep it fun. There we are. Okay. Keep it fun. I mean, would have personally, I'm not just saying this to make a point, you know, honestly mean it. I would have been quite nervous about doing a kit like this, because it isn't a Metcalfe kit. It isn't as immediately friendly looking. But there's a point in time I'd have rushed it and made a right hash of it. But now I feel a lot more confident in doing it, because I've learned to take my time a little bit more. That's why I say I want to try and get as much of this done, ironically, get as much of this done before the quick kit build later on. But really, ideally, what I mostly want to do is get to a point where these components are together and it's one unit that I can put to one side, as opposed to having all these bits lying around. Makes me nervous, see? Right, I think we're ready for some glue, aren't we? And again, I'm going to do it to the brown the brown piece because we've got this frame here. I'll try and put not too much on, but also give it enough to give a good bond. Also, you could use a cocktail stick. And that's actually what I was looking for first, and I spotted the paper. I was like, how that would do. Because I mean, interestingly, I think that's something missing from the TT120 range, is a set of card kits like the Metcalf ones, because it's one of the things when I investigated the possibility of doing that scale for UK trains that was just totally missing. You know, where was I supposed to get buildings from, because the Hornby ones sell out so quickly. And I could see people using N-gauge kits and that, and using the Metcalf like platform, N-gauge platform and stuff. It's, yeah. So they can be really quite useful things. Right, tell you what, I will cut here. I'll just cut away, and then because I've got got 2 little ones to make. It's using those 2 pieces at the bottom there, and then we'll come back when I do the glass for the other one. So you don't see me putting 2 bits together for the glass to go into. I'll just do the actual glass with you watching. Okay, so here we are. I've put together the bit that needs some glass on the back. Oh, some glass, some glazing. So it tells me I need 42mm by 11mm. This is where my rule comes in. Now originally I was cutting these with the knife, but so I can get that out of that bit. Oh, look at that. That's the right length already. It may have been a really bad example, but that's the right length already. So basically, yes, I've been measuring it up. What we're going to want. Trying to cut it as straight as possible. And then we need to make sure that we lose that bit. Right. So now we make sure that that is 11. So you see, at the minute that's too big. That's too big, which is quite good because it needs to be there. Okay, so what I do now is, judging by eye, which isn't the best way to do these things, just come in and just cut it like that. And that's how I've been doing it, and it's been working. So if I was able to have a clamp or something, or I could clamp it down and then use the craft knife to do it, that would be my preferred way. Preferred way? I don't know, my brain's not talking. Does my mouth on that matter? it'd be my preferred method of doing it, but yeah, this is the way we have to do it. How I am having to do it. So, but as I think you'll agree, that's just made a rather nice fit there. It just needs a bit of a trim at the bottom edge, which is poking out a bit. Neatly fits in now at both ends. And it's provided a nice bit of glazing there. Okay, so either let it fall out, introduce some glue again. Make sure there's enough trusses to actually support it. And again, remembering PVA does actually dry clear. Here there is a product called Glue and Glaze, which I understand is far superior for this to the former PVA. But it's actually been manufactured with this sort of job in mind. That's why I'm just trying to be a bit a bit reserved on what I apply. And I do want some on the back of the window frames because it needs to stick to them. Quite often I used to just do the bits around the edge and that and sort of hope, but really it does help to have the frames at least with something on them just to help it adhere. So put glass in. There, give it a good press down, and wipe off what we can, but yes. So yeah, so that glue there will dry, clear the bits you can see. There we are, so that's how I do the windows on these. So, I actually have another one with a much smaller bit of window. You do get two pieces of clear plastic to use, two squares. I'm trying to make best use of one of them before I even attempt to look at the other one, because there's actually, as far as I can see, there's actually only one more window to go in. And if I can get it all out of one sheet, that's rather good. Means I've got a spare sheet for future projects, which is even better. Okay, right. So as I said, once I bring the first 4 walls together, and I want to test an LED in it, we'll come back. Okay. Okay. So now just to do a test, and yeah, I can see even bringing it up. There's going to be no light bleed if I do it like that. Huh. But if I bring it up to make sure you can see, you see there's nothing apart from the windows. There's nothing coming through there, so that's really good. I've actually none of that's glued in yet. It's a dry fit, which is always a good idea, by the way, if you're model making. So I'm confident there's going to be no light bleed within this structure, which is really nice. But I'm looking at it, I'm thinking I'm going to have to put at least 4 LEDs in. I think there's going to be one here because there's a separate room formed with this wall here in there. And we've got a window, so it'd be nice to have a light in there. one in the back, one in the main part here, and there's a porch here. So I'm thinking that is going to want, again, it's going to want something in there, isn't it? So yeah, I've got a few holes to make. A few holes to make. I've got some holes to drill on the layout, obviously. I'm putting a bus on there as well, because it's got working lights. So yeah, one or two buses. For one of it makes a second vehicle on there. The other one's a little electric sort of warehouse truck thing that goes, you know, just for the one of the factories over there. Little three wheel thing. It's quite interesting. But yeah, in fact, insert picture here. So yeah, there's that. So I've got a couple of holes to drill as well. And also, I'll need to drill the holes for this. I'm going to get it as far along as I can without adding a roof, and then see about getting the holes. Now I'm going to have to use a little pin vise type thing to drill this one out. I'm not going to put the big drill near this, big disaster, but as long as it's enough to feed the wires through, and they are, as you saw, they're quite nice thin wires, so we get them through. I've got plenty of these 3mm 1 white lights. Get it lit up, all lit up, get it looking nice, add to the scene. But yeah, that's, let's say, considering this is, can I actually move it? Yeah, because that's all currently just pressure. There's no glue involved here at all in a minute. On the actual keeping it all together. Also, there's glue to keep the two pieces together in the windows and everything. But really, am quite pleased with that and how it's looking so far. That's, yeah. Right. Wow. I'm gonna now go ahead and glue those bits together, because there's some bits still drying here. So what I'll do is I'll glue the main structure together and leave these bits to dry that I've done recently. Go and have some lunch and get the quick kit out of the loft and class 58 for someone. Which yeah, and then yeah, see how we get on from there. Right, so here we are. I've built the building. It's now glued in place, and I've added the T, which forms the basis of my dirt road. Just the bits where people walk around the outside, that's a bit of spillage that will hoover up. Yeah, so next time I come back to you, that will have been hoovered and possibly even painted. It depends. I probably will just do the two. And I'll get the LEDs wired in. So I'll show you sort of before turning the LEDs on, or turning all the lights on again, and not. There's another couple of things I'm adding. There's a bus there, and a Kadama over there, which I think has been seen before, but yeah, they're up there. They're lit. They're going to be lit as well. So yes. And once that's back in place, I've got the people that were knocked over and came out from here to put back in again. But I think that's going to work quite nicely nestled in there. So, as promised, we're back. We've got the Kadama lit up over there. You see the bus tail lights here. But I'm going to show you this. This is a Green Max Pretty Pink. It's the class is an A3000. That was rather nice. Came yesterday. But yes, panning around with it. So there's the bus all lit up. Not sure what that is. Some paper or something. I think it's all stuck in there. bit there, isn't there? Anyway, I saw that. And here is the house. Now bedded in with dirt round it where people would be walking. So all I've got now to do is to add the people who are in the street that were unfortunately lost as part of the construction, but obviously need to put them back in and put some more back in around the cherry blossoms again, enjoying them. But yeah, all in all, I think quite a successful build. I've really enjoyed that kit. It's quite solid there. You know, not quite as solid as maybe as these, but it's solid enough. Oh, here we go. I'll stay here 3353 to come through the other way. There we are. Yes, I like to think all these little things make it that much more exhibition ready, and yes, well, yeah, ready for future exhibitions. But yeah, so easy to say. Arigato gozaimashita. Take care, everyone, and sayonara.